Hi everyone. Today my first topic of discussion is JsAdmin and database connection information. So first of all, I will start talking about basics. As it is a Java-based product, it requires one application server behind it, as we had Tiger. One web server could be anything, which we are using now, Tomcat server. And one database server can be independent to use, which can be either Oracle or IBM DB2 or SQL Server or MySQL. So based on the requirement, you have to select which database server you need to connect with Jaguar client application. And maybe you can use some database services as well. So first of all, as you can see in the screen, one folder is opened. So this folder will get created when you install the web server, that is the Tomcat server. So for that, after install the Tomcat server, we have to start the server who run the JsAdmin tool. So in the installation folder, we have to go to bin folder, which containing list of files having executable jar files and Windows batch files. So we have to run startup.bat to run the Tomcat server. After it getting started, we have to open a URL in the browser. You can use Google Chrome or Internet Explorer, but experience wise it shows that Internet Explorer is much better in working with Jaguar than any other browser. So I personally recommend to use Internet Explorer. So as we see in the URL that we need to run to download the Java file. So it is containing, as I am using the local host, you can use your IP address of your server. With port number I am using 8080/logo/jsadmin.jsp. After clicking the enter button, one .gnlp file will get downloaded. So we have to run that file to run the JsAdmin tool. So it is getting open. So we have to run the Java file to open the login screen. So the login screen is getting displayed. So you can see that it is in Turkish language. You can change the language to English from here. Now you have to enter the username. So I am entering the username in caps lock logo, and password I am entering. So then click on OK. The home screen containing the database configuration will get displayed. So within database configuration, we can see database connections, and within database connections we have database connection settings. So the first part is we have to understand about the database connection setting. So one thing you should keep it in mind, that Tiger has this database connection file to make connection between database and the client. First of all, I am discussing about database connection steps. So as we have three services like database services, administrative services and client services. Right now we are going to concentrate on database services. So I will discussing about how to administrating our application, which we call DBadmin, and finally we will going to talk about Jaguar client application. So first part is database connection setting. I have multiple connections. You can see that one connection name is there. So connection may be of test database or of real database or any other customer database. So you can use number of connections here, and this is just a database connection name. You have your own connection name you can add. So for adding a new connection, you can go below, click on add button. So one screen will get display, one blank screen you can see. So here you can enter all your connection details. So I am entering my database name as db test. Secondly, we need to choose a database type. Here see types of database in the list. You can select your database based on your requirement. So I am selecting SQL Server database. So there are 4 major database. So I personally choose SQL Server from my side. If you want, you can choose any other database, which database you are using. So in the server name, I am using localhost as my database is installed in my local machine. So I am entering localhost as my server name. So if your database is in some other server, then you can give the server IP address here, and in the database name I am giving my database instance name. And so keep it in mind that as it is a Java based product, so the name should be in proper. Check the caps lock, space, everything should be correct, otherwise the connection will not getting proper. You will get a error during connection. So now better to open SQL and find out the database instance name, copy from there and paste it here. So it will be better, and in the port number I am giving my server port number, that is 8080. Then in the username, give a username. I am entering SA as a username and I am entering the password. Then you can check the connection is fine or not by clicking the test button given below. So you can see the connection test is okay, means the connection is successful. So what happened sometimes, if you are using some instance which are in some other version of database, so maybe some problem can arises. Better to have it the same instance you should use for the same database server. Like for example, as I am using SQL Server 2008, so I am using my default instance, that which will be more reliable and easiest way to connect. And another thing is that as it is a Java based product, so Java is the case sensitive, so you need to take care of the naming convention to make a proper name that you are using, otherwise the connection will not get proper. You will get an error while connecting. So as multiple connections you can make with the database server and ODBC server, so depends on the server capacity and how will be the performance, how it behaves, you can do connections. And again you can check the status by opening the URL instead of JsAdmin.jsp, write status and click on enter. One log file will get generated, which will help you to monitor, like suppose any connection problem arises, you can check from that log file, or any new user is connected, or if any changes made in the system configuration, then you can monitor everything using that log file. Another thing is that suppose if you want to restart your server, you want to shut down your server, you have to run the batch file that I have shown you in the bin folder of the installation folder of Tomcat server. Again, Suppose multiple connections are there in the server, like 2-3 users using multiple connections. Again, one user suppose connected to multiple IPs, and suppose you have a license of 10 user, and if one user connected to 3 sessions, means 3 users connected at a time. For that reason, sometimes we have to close one session to improve the performance of the server. For that, you need to use the log files to understand how many users accessing that session at a time. So as one user logged into the system, means he is using one session. And finally, before I going to end the discussion on server administration, I will start the administrative tool discussion after I finish that server administration discussion. Now I can tell you few options are there, that is the database operations. If I click on database operations, you can see few options are available here. So if any changes happened in the system or in the client software, so we need to upgrade our system tables. The tables which are present in the database. So you can create the system tables. You can upgrade by clicking the create/upgrade system tables. Check system tables is properly upgraded or not by using the check system tables. You can upgrade system table references as well. If there are any reference of any system tables with other system tables, that also will getting upgraded with these first 3 options. So these first 3 options, nothing so this is not, first 3 options is most important than any other options. So this is all about Jaguar server administration tool, and the next tutorial I will be going to explain about Jaguar admin tool. So thank you.